The cost of Canada, the cost to live in Canada from expensive healthcare. Yes, that's right, expensive healthcare. You thought we had free healthcare. No, sometimes free can be very, very expensive, from the rising cost of housing and just the daily life and the daily grind in Toronto and Canada and Vancouver. Any place really in Canada is really expensive now in 2025. So we're going to discuss it in today's video with a bunch of videos relating to all of those topics here today. And before we get into it, I want to let you guys know that about 90% of you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel. So again, if you keep finding yourself coming back to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's dive straight into it today.
I am truly just so frustrated and stressed out right now. Like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I went to get my first iron infusion today, and how that works is like just before your actual infusion in the hospital, you have to go down to the pharmacy, pick up the actual like iron, and then bring it up, and then they do the infusion in the hospital. And when I went to go pick up this medication, it was almost $300. And when I mentioned it to the nurse that was doing my infusion to see if there was any way that I didn't have to use like maybe the hospital's pharmacy might be charging more or find it cheaper, anything like that, they actually said like, oh yeah, this is a really expensive medication, and because this is your first round, it's actually only a half dose, to make sure that you're not allergic or anything, or you don't have a bad reaction. So normally you would get double this and it would be around $600. I am supposed to be getting these iron infusions every single month. I do not know where anyone expects me to magically come up with an additional $600 every single month. And I really wish that like doctors would be more transparent about this when they're signing you up to do this stuff, because I was just told that like my blood work is showing low iron. It's consistently showing low iron. They tried the pills initially, like iron pills, and that caused a whole bunch of GI issues that I'm still dealing with. So their next step was to go to an iron infusion, which I was like, okay, but at no point did anyone tell me it was going to cost $600. Even when they called to confirm the infusion and give me the instructions on how to pick up the iron before coming up and all that stuff, again, nobody mentioned this cost. So like, I did not budget for me to spend $300 today. And like, I did, like, why is this not information that we give people before they walk into a pharmacy?
So much for free healthcare, right? $300 for an iron infusion, $600 if it was the regular dose. A lot of people don't realize that yes, we do technically have free healthcare, but there's a lot of things that the free healthcare doesn't actually cover unless you have private insurance from a company that pays that pretty much every month.
5% of Canadians have saved nothing for retirement. So that means we're going to need some government programs to help out the 35% of people that have saved nothing. And that's going to put more stress on our financial system entirely. It's going to be more on our taxes and everything. On average, it costs $10,000 to $15,000 to raise a child in Canada. And that is a lie. That number is actually wrong. Those numbers are very old. At this point, it's actually closer from 0 to 18. You're looking at about $200,000. And that's actually with numbers that I was looking at back in, I think, 2017 or 2018. So we can imagine that it's much more now. Plus the value of our dollar is not strong. So we can see that be getting worse. And financial stress is one of the top 3 reasons for divorce.
Oh yeah. Yep. That puts a massive hinge on the relationship, just a hammer right in there. Financial stress and raising a kid in Canada is very expensive. I know you get some benefits from the government, like what is it, $600 a month or something like that for a kid, which is like literally nothing. That won't even pay for like a week and a half's worth of groceries for 2 people, mind you, 3. So brutal in Canada.
And as debt stress is just a theory, think again. Mortgage delinquency rates in Vancouver are already up over 28% year over year. That's real families falling behind on payments. And it's not just mortgage delinquencies that are at peak levels. We're seeing the same in credit cards, lines of credit, automobile loans, and business loans. With debts continuing to climb, more homeowners will be forced to sell their homes. With fewer buyers actively house hunting, and an increase in urgent must-sell listings can drive down the prices very quickly. And there's more. Banks are also going to be tightening lending rules by limiting mortgages to no more than 4.5 times your income. That means refinancing your way out of trouble just got tougher. And with housing appraisals coming in at far lower amounts, home equity lines of credit are no longer being handed out to literally everyone that applies.
Well, I mean, that could maybe lead to prices of houses going down, but honestly, I don't think so, because if people just default on their mortgages, then the banks will either buy the houses, or wealthy corporations will buy it, or just wealthy individuals will buy up those houses, and then they control the housing supply, and then you have to rent for them for whatever the price is for the rent, whatever they can justify for pricing, right? So unbelievable what could be happening in 2025. I really hope this doesn't happen, because corporate landlords can be way worse than regular landlords. And a lot of people have bad landlords, and if you do have a bad landlord, I sympathize with that, but corporate landlords are on a whole other level. No face to the greed, right? You don't even get to know who your real landlord is, right? It's just a board, right? Just a board of directors.
Food banks. We don't realize it, but Canada is facing an unprecedented hunger crisis, with 1 in 3 Canadians, 11 million people, now relying on food banks, the highest level in history. Demand has doubled since 2019. We've seen food inflation of 27% since 2020. Some items, bread, milk, meat, up 30 to 50%. 60% of food bank users cite rent or mortgage as the primary burden. 25% of users have jobs but still can't afford groceries.
That's crazy that we're actually getting homeowners who have to use the food bank because their mortgage is so expensive that they have nothing left after their paycheck. Let them affordably buy groceries. That is ridiculous. Now, whether or not you think that's justified, some people will say, well, it's for like the homeless people who absolutely need it. Leave your thoughts about that down below in the comment section.
Most of you have heard the Bank of Canada held the overnight lending rate at 2.75, which holds Bank Prime at 4.95 on the last announcement date, which was April 16th. A lot of people feel that this is maybe a missed opportunity for another interest rate cut and an opportunity to maybe fuel our economy that is heading towards recession. So why did the Bank of Canada hold rates? It's one word, guys. It's uncertainty. The Bank of Canada is threading a needle. Inflation is still higher than they want it to be. And the US trade war is creating a mess. In the words of the Bank of Canada, this is a time of unprecedented uncertainty. We've certainly heard that before. If tariffs stay contained, we might be dealing with stabilization. But if tariffs reel out of control, we might be seeing a recession and inflation, which could create stagflation. That is not what anyone wants to see in Canada.
Stagflation is one of the scariest words. And if you don't know what stagflation is an economic state where inflation is high, economic growth is slow, and unemployment is high. It's characterized by a combination of economic stagnation, low growth, and inflation, creating a difficult situation for policymakers. The phenomenon defies traditional economic models, which usually show inflation and economic growth moving together. So again, a bad job market like we have in Canada could also lead to stagflation with all those other varying factors, which could be a hellstorm for people living in Canada. Leave your thoughts below about this video's subject. And with that being said, guys, I hope you at least learned something from today, and I hope you guys hit that like button on the way out. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.